The other day, I was trying to find any shop selling Indian spices in Beirut, and I was trying to locate such a shop using Google Map on my smartphone. And while I was trying to locate such a shop in Beirut, there is something which I realized about Google Map. It just occurred to my mind at that time. And what it was, I mean, for a moment, I stopped about this locating a spice shop, and I was looking at the Google Map itself on my smartphone. And then I realized that how exactly this map must have been, like made. So yeah, what I have learned is there are certain latitudes, then there are certain longitudes. So this latitude can easily be called as y-axis, and this longitude can easily be called as x-axis, and then all these points which Google Map are showing me the names of places, they are basically nothing but they are the x and y's, the longitudes and the latitudes, okay, points, and they all have been marked using GPS locations, okay, on an x and y, I mean on longitude and latitude. So if I try to simplify that Google Map or bring its level down, then it's just a graph. It's just a graph in on x and y axis. Okay, but it is drawn in such a beautiful way, in such a presentable way that a person like me or any other person can easily understand it and can easily make some sense out of it, and at the end he can use it to his advantage. Okay, it's a different story, like to make that map and make it available to all the people in the world on a smartphone. You can very well assume the kind of science and technology and max which has gone into it, but let's keep that aside. Another example which readily comes to my mind are the Ola Uber apps, the apps for taxi sharing, then the apps which are used nowadays to deliver home delivery of food or home delivery of any products. They all are examples of graphs. They all are based on the principle of graphs. Now that's what I realized at that time. And if I think a little bit more, then few days back, a cyclone by the name of Nisarg, it was passing through India, and it was supposed to pass the coast of Maharashtra. I received many messages on WhatsApp asking me to go to a particular website. The name of the website I'm giving down here. It's wind.com. I mean, wind, W-I-N-D, wind.com. If you go to this website, and when this website opens, I mean, you will be truly amazed. I mean, it shows the entire map of world. You can locate anywhere, and then you can see whatever weather related parameters you want to see. You can track the world's temperature or temperature of any particular point of any particular location in any corner of this earth. And here I saw this cyclone Nisarg, where it got developed, where it is going to end, and what is the path it is going to take. It was all very well documented there, and it was simple graph. It was again a latitude versus longitude graph, very highly processed and very complicated kind of a graph. But the end result is very user friendly, and people like you and me who have no clue of how these things are done can actually understand that graph and can make sense out of it. So the examples which I have given you till now these examples are well-known examples. These examples involves a lot of science and technology efforts, a lot of money efforts, a lot of human resource efforts, and attention to the finest detail to convey the message. Let me think about some other place where graph was always used, but where I never realized that I'm using it. Now, one such example I can think of is drawings. You know, engineering drawings. I mean, first time when I started doing engineering drawing, it was in my first year of diploma in mechanical engineering. Now, from that point till today, sometime or the other, I keep on making drawings of machine elements and drawings of objects. Like I do orthographic drawings, then there are isometric drawings, then I do CAD drawings on computer, I do 3D modeling on computers. Now, when I'm thinking in that direction, now I'm realizing that all these aspects of drawings, they were really nothing but at its simplest level, they were just graphs. They were just simple xy or xyz axis graph. That's what it was. And all I have been doing was just plotting the points in the respective axis and then just connecting the dots to make some meaning out of it. That's all engineering drawing was. There are some other types of graph also, which like we make. Uh, I believe every individual make their own graph, and we keep on doing it all our life. Like keep making graphs. For example, when a teenage boy, has just entered college, it's his first day in the college, and he is full of expectations. The question is, he is expecting what? You know, that's the question. Now, if he is going to a college where there are only boys, okay, the story ends there. But what if he is going to a college where he is expecting a lot of girls? I mean, yes, I mean, he must be having a lot of expectations, right? Like he would like to meet girls because this is the first time when he is free out of the school. There is no restrictions. There are no uniforms. He can wear what he wants to wear, and he can make himself presentable in front of girls. And he's pretty sure the girls are also doing the same thing. They are no more in uniforms. They are also wearing, like the dresses of their choice and making themselves more presentable. So yes, so once he enters college, he already has a set of activities which he plans to do. For example, the first activity is of course trying to figure out what kind of a class he has been allocated. The second, how many girls are there. Third, like whether he can find a seat which is very close or next to where a girl is sitting. Then the fourth is with what girl he should strike a friendship, whether he should strike a friendship with one girl or many girls, and then the most important, who will be the first one, you know. Now, in order to do all this, he needs to prepare a graph, okay, and he does prepare this graph. Now, this graph has a different kind of an x-axis. It has got a different kind of a y-axis and a completely different kind of a z-axis and probably some other axis. Okay, but so you can say that this is a very complicated graph, and he's not preparing it on a piece of a paper. He is preparing it in his mind, and that's where he prepares this graph, and then he finally comes to a conclusion where he has to strike. I mean, you can debate on this example which I have given, but I'm pretty sure that most of the boys, because I'm also a boy, most of the boys go through that same phenomena. Same, any normal boy I'm talking about. And I'm sure the same thing happens at the other end also. I mean, I'm talking about girls. So this is one example. Another example is of a child. He is entering the toy store, and then the kind of psychological warfare he is going, and his parents are also going at the same time. His parents are thinking how we can convince the boy to come out of the toy store empty-handed. and the child is thinking how I can convince my parents, to walk out of that store with more than one toy. So, and then you can think about the different kind of a process the parents and the child is going through. So there also, I think, some kind of a mental graph is being prepared by parents and by the child in order to solve their own problems. Yes, that's what graph is used for, to solve a problem. And this is something which I don't think so I was conveyed enough when I was first introduced to graph. And there is one more thing which I realize, and which is like if you find a certain thing very complicated, okay, something which you don't understand, you will try to run away from it. Okay, but once that same complicated thing, if it has been reduced to its simplest form, and if you're able to understand this transition, and if you're able to understand this change from complex to simple, and if you're really liked this simple form, that's the time when miracle happens. Now, that's the time when you start liking of what you are doing. You slowly, from liking it, you start loving it. Very soon, you fell in love with it, and very soon you get crazy about it, and then suddenly you realize that now you're doing things. Okay, you're making things which at the very beginning was certainly impossible for you, and like I was like you're running away from it. So it is that point where, you know to make things simple, you need somebody to do that job for you. I mean, most of the time you can't do it yourself. You need somebody. That's where the teacher comes in. Like, it is the job of the teacher to reduce the most complex subject into its simplest form so that his students fell in love with it. And once, if you fell in love, then you can do some really crazy stuff. I mean, this is true. This is true, man. I mean, believe me. So, yes. So, that's what it is needed. Like somebody to reduce a very complex subject into its simplest form so that children can fall in love. Now, let me come to the real objective of this video. I am attempting an experiment which has got two objectives. The number one objective is to help improve and make a relationship and get closer to my two children. Somehow, in this, because of this professional life, and because of me staying more away from the home, somewhere I feel that I have lost my children, or I'm a little bit away from my children. So this experiment is an attempt to see if what I'm trying to do will help me to get closer to my children. That's the objective number one. Objective number two is to try and test the ideas which I have, if I'm able to successfully communicate to children and to adults alike, whether they are able to understand me and whether they are able to enjoy and love whatever I'm trying to display or whatever I'm trying to demonstrate. So these are the two objectives which I hope to fulfill. Means at the end of this experiment, I think I will have a better clear idea whether the approach which I am taking is the right approach or I need to change. There will be, I think, another 3 or 4 videos And in these 3 or 4 videos, I will experiment with the concept of graph, starting with some simple things. And let's see, at the end of 3 or 4 videos, the kind of feedback which I receive from the viewers, from you all, from my own children, and Hannah should guide me, should help me. And I'll take it from there. I mean, instead of talking too much, just watch for my next video, and I'll straight away start with the topic of graph. And with this, I finish this video. Okay, and there is one more thing. Okay, uh, that really smells very bad. Since last 4 days, I'm wearing the same t-shirt so that I have a same look throughout the video. But I think now, I think I'm finally at the end of the video. It took me like 4 days of continuous work, and I don't know how many hours to develop this 15 to 20 minutes of video. The biggest challenge which I faced was to express myself honestly in front of the camera. That was the most difficult part. You all cannot imagine the kind of a compromise, the kind of an acceptance, the kind of an emotional turmoil, and the kind of a confusion and hesitation and all that negative thoughts I had to overcome to look straight right into the eye of the camera and speak what I really think about. You guys can tell me whether I did a good job or a bad job. But from my side, what I know is I'm trying. This is an attempt. I believe everybody should try whatever they need to or whatever they want to. The first step has to be taken. And I hope and I always believe you take the first step, and Almighty will lay the path for you, not before that. And with that positive note, I end this video.